Hello and welcome to Beauty Superstars Talk. We're your backstage pass to experts in beauty. My name is Mickey Wright and I'm your host and a salon pricing strategist with beautysuperstars.com. I help struggling hairstylists turn into superstars who confidently raise their prices and charge what they're worth. And I want to thank you for joining us. We are here with a special edition and I have a question for you. What is the longest running organization that has been dedicated to helping Black beauty professionals in the entire country? If you guess the National Beauty Culturists League, or NBCL as they're referred to, you would be right. So if you've never heard of them, please stick around to hear more because we're here today for a very special announcement. And so my guest right now today is Dr. Katie B. Catalon, and she's the president of NBCL. And we are also joined by Mr. Lafayette Jones of SMSI. He's the marketing partner with them and the publisher of Urban Call and a friend to the Beauty Superstars Talk podcast. So before we jump into our conversation, if you are here for the first time, we say welcome. If you are returning, we say thank you. And each and every week, I have the privilege to interview Black beauty bosses who are doing amazing things in the beauty industry. We give voice to their stories and celebrate their excellence while they drop nuggets to help all of us become better beauty pros um, and better entrepreneurs as well. So, more than a podcast, this is actually a movement. We're here to encourage Black excellence, entrepreneurship, to preserve our history, and to bring healing to our industry. So, to keep up with the best and brightest in the industry and to get more tips to move your beauty business forward, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and ring the bell so you get notified when we post. And be sure to catch us on your favorite podcast station as well. So we want to thank our sponsor, which is the Luxury Hairstylist Blueprint, and we give hairstylists a four-step process to raise their prices and elevate their client experience in 6 weeks or less without guilt or fear. And so I have a new workbook that I want to share with you. It's called the Power Pricing Workbook for Hairstylists, and it's the first 3 steps to raising your prices. So you can grab your free copy, download it today at beautysuperstars.com, and it's stars with an S on the end. It's beautysuperstars.com. So thanks again for joining us. And without further ado, I want to bring on Dr. Katie Catalon. So thank you so much for being here, Dr. Catalon. And thank you also, Lafayette Jones. It's like we are here and we want to know more about NBCL. Can you tell us a little bit about the organization and what it has stood for all of these years?
Thank you so much, Nikki. I'm delighted to be with you today. The National Beauty Culturists League Incorporated was organized on October 1st, 1919, and incorporated in the state of Delaware. And it was Madam C.J. Walker that started it all, but unfortunately, she died on May 25th, 1919. And we were organized on October 1st, 1919, under Cordelia Green Johnson. And I want you to know that it was the start of everything as to where the National Beauty Culturists League is now. Our pioneers' names are long listed, Madam Annie Malone, Sarah Spencer Washington, and so many others. And Cordelia Green Johnson started us out, and we have a sorority, and Dr. Katie E. Wickham continued that legacy. And I wanted to be the president because I envisioned what they were doing, and I knew that we had to remain focused on the foundation that the pioneers left for us to follow. And I'm excited about being with you today. And I want to move forward because we have the new technology coming in and we need to open up this organization. We need to be more visible. And I'm excited about being on the program today.
Yeah, well, we're so honored to have you here. The NBCL has been such a major impact on the beauty community, the Black beauty community for so long. Like you say, when Madam C.J. Walker is the start of it, it's like we know that it goes a ways back. Definitely the longest running. But tell us about your background, like what makes you so passionate about, being president of NBCL, and what had you done before then? Because your commitment to our industry shows.
Well, I was a teacher for 30 years. I retired from the Charleston County School District, and during that time, I had a salon for 22 years because I knew that cosmetologists were making more money than the teachers were making, and I stuck with it, and I found out that there was so much that needed to be done with professional ethics for the cosmetologists. They needed to be recognized for the self-worth that they have in the community, because they came along at a time and they were very needed, and we became really the backbones of the civil rights movement, the cosmetologists and the barbers. And to this day, we're doing the same thing because we're the first ones that they come to. They sit in our salons and they talk to people and they know exactly what's going on. So when we gossip about the need changes that are required, and we work along with that. So I'm excited. I've done many things. I'm politically involved, and I've published 4 books, self-published 4 books, and I worked along with that. And I try to encourage others to do the same thing. It's
Yeah.
all about sharing. You cannot do anything alone in this world. So we share our information, and I try to entice our members to remain very professional in what they're doing and to tell about the National Beauty Culturists League. People don't know, but we want them to know.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So thank you for sharing that. It's like you've got a rich history in terms of the beauty industry, and it's like being a cosmetology instructor is something that is so foundational to, our whole industry moving forward. So thank you for all of your contributions. And I want to just turn the tables to Mr. Lafayette Jones and say welcome to you, and
Welcome.
to share a little bit about your background and why you're so committed to the NBCL.
Well, I've been very privileged to have known many of the leaders of the National Beauty Culturists League. When I first came into the business in the late 60s, one of the first people that I met was Katie B. Wickham. As a matter of fact, I went there with George Johnson, who was founder of Johnson Products, and he introduced me to her. And I remember her coming on that down the long spiral staircase with her glasses on, and she was losing her sight at the time. And Mr. Johnson held his hand out, and she's such an elegant lady. And she spoke to me, and we had a very nice conversation. And Mr. Johnson said to me, this is the foundation, and these are the women who built our business. And if you know, Black cosmetologists are integral to our community, because think about what family doesn't have a minister, a teacher, a cosmetologist, a barber, and those are some of the foundations in our community. My Aunt Ola in Nashville, Tennessee, was a cosmetologist. One of my daughters is a cosmetologist. Sometimes she's a cosmetologist. Depends on what she wants to do. But she went to pivot point is education. I tried to get her the finest education that I could find. And she occasionally would show up to NBCL, but she had a different mind. Good person. But so cosmetology has been a service, and not just when I say cosmetology, I'm talking about estheticians, I'm talking about barbers, I'm talking about beauty professionals, and probably some other folks that in the organization that I don't know what their titles are or exactly what they do, but they're important. They serve an African American and global population, actually, because many of the styles that are now and in the past that have been worn around the world actually came from the hands and the shops of Black women through Ebony and Jet and Essence and the rest. So I'm involved because I'm passionate about their history. I understand the economics and the foundation. Some of our younger folks think they just woke up yesterday and all these products were here and so forth. But there isn't a city you go to, historically and even now, where there are all kinds of salons and barbershops. Things have changed in many ways because of COVID, but that's coming back too. So those have been pretty important to our community, especially when you're building brands. Someone has to buy these brands, use these products, and educate the consumer.
Yes, yes. And we spend more than any other group on hair care products and hair care
Try
services.
7 to 8 billion a year,
Yes.
and of that, about we estimate probably about 1.5 billion, maybe two of that is around salon products to African American women. But because Black women have expanded their usage. They're using all kinds of products, products certainly made by Black-led companies and general market Black-led companies. Inside these companies are some very, very brilliant African Americans who are working for major corporations, and then there are those that are owned by Black people. And in the last decade, I could name, if I had my list, 25 or 30 women, Black-owned online businesses that are doing between 3 to 8 million, 3 to 10 million a year. Some of them, in fact, have been acquired by general market companies.
Yeah, it's like we're definitely in a very prosperous business, a very growing business, and it looks like we've got a phone there. But yeah, I want to just get a sense of, a lot of people are maybe hearing about NBCL for the first time, and we hear something that started, it's like way back, when Madam C.J. Walker was around. But what is it that makes it relevant to hairstylists right now? What does the organization provide for cosmetologists today?
I think, and I know education. We're very concerned about education, because we have to be aware and very alert about changes coming in and with the different products. And there's one thing about the African American hairstylists. They're the only ones that can wear and design more than one design on the head of hair at one time. So they're very unique with that. And we are really out there first. We are leaders. Once they see what we're doing, the others come and they want to do the same thing. So we want to link up and be prepared, not only to stop there, but to bring them in with us so they can learn and through the education that we're providing to them, so they can come along with us, because we can't survive with just doing it ourselves. We need to come together and unite. Unity is very important. So when we come together, we're going to be strong and do greater things.
Absolutely. That's very powerful. Did you want to add anything to that, Mr. Jones?
One of the things that, yes, I do. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. One of their themes is their strength in our unity. That's a big concept, strength in our unity. We learned that if we work together in our businesses and our companies, we can improve our communities. It's not just about business, it's really about community development. And cosmetologists have been, again, integral to the development of our communities, not only from an economic point of view, but also from a social leadership point of view. And they're also bellwethers as to what is happening in the community. Now, the business changes from time to time, especially during COVID, especially because of new technology. But I can tell you, my wife of 40 years, until COVID hit, was making her way to her salon once a week on Thursday at 3.
Okay.
These are the hardcore women, in particular, Black women. As a matter of fact, cosmetologists and estheticians and barbers are the largest Black-owned individual companies or enterprises of all. They're the biggest entrepreneurs. And you can go to any city and you can find hundreds of barbers and salons. And some of them also work from home, depending on their economic circumstances. So they're a force unto themselves. And the internet is important for education and all of those things. Dr. Catalon, can you talk a bit about your PhD and other degrees that are awarded, and what that's about, please?
Yeah, it's through the Institute of Cosmetology, known as IOC. It is you can get your bachelor's, you get your master's, and you get your doctorate. So it's DPC. That means Doctorate of Professional Cosmetology, that DPC. And the barbers get theirs also. But you have to go through the curriculum of the National Institute of Cosmetology. However, if you've gone to a community college, you have to get them to send a transcript to our Director of Education, Director of Deans, to be sure that you have received those hours. And if you have a college degree, a BS, or a master's degree, the BS, you come into the master's program, And if you have a master's, you come into the doctoral program.
Mm.
And now it's just like a college setup with curriculum. To get that BA, BS, you need your 4 years. But that's just 1 week of hard studying in the Institute of Cosmetology. No playing around or anything. We did it virtual this year. We had the graduation online. It was beautiful, well attended. And also, we want it to be known that if you are a cosmetologist and a barber with a master license or crossover, you can get that also. You go to a step higher. So it's all about education, education, and more education.
Yeah, I think as we move forward, that will be kind of the separating piece is like, how well are you able to meet the needs of the clients? What is it that you
Yes.
know that others don't know that people will gravitate toward you and your business? So that is exceptional. And
Another thing is that many of they're organized in 17 states, and on paper about 8,000 members now.
And the Bahamas.
I'm sorry, in the Bahamas, and at one time Canada, and one time
Yes.
Japan. It's kind of like church, the minister says we have 5,000 on our rolls, but 3,000 show up. It's kind of like that. But they are a force in terms of their population, and they are very well organized. They have state presidents, chapter presidents, officers within those chapters itself. It has it is probably one of the most organized industries. And so you have many people who say, well, we're not organized. It's because they don't have an idea of other things. And I'm not saying the NBCL has all the answers. It doesn't. It struggles like everyone else. And we're going to talk about one of its big struggles as we go through this today.
And Mickey, we have members that have college degrees from academic colleges that's with us. And our professors that are teaching the classes, our professors at colleges and universities that come into our Institute of Cosmetology teach the members that enroll for the curriculum of achieving high levels of professionalism in cosmetology and in barbering, esthetician, and in manicuring.
yeah,
I think that's so right. I write a column, I've written a column for the last 25 or 30 years for OTC Beauty Magazine. So I do 6 to 8 biographies a month for 30 years. It's a lot of people. And they're mostly about barbers and cosmetologists and film people. You'd be amazed at the talent within our ranks.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading about someone who was a special dentist. She was also a cosmetologist. Also a cosmetologist. I mean, if you look at the films, I think Mickey, you just told me about a young man who was doing work on a film for the Aretha Franklin's Respect film. Who was that?
Lawrence Davis.
Lawrence Davis. And
Yeah.
Mickey is one of the sources for introducing my column to new talent in the business. And every time I see one, I mean, there's a group called International Shades of Beauty, Dr. Robin Joppi. And that's, a matter of fact, that's coming up soon. And it will be, it's virtual. It's last year was in Dubai, and this year it's emanating worldwide from Kenya. So there are lots of things. And I also want to say that the Bronner Brothers show, Mr. Bronner was a friend of mine, and his wife and his 5 sons are friends of mine today. It had its foundation in the National Beauty Culturists League. They partnered to create the first show. Now that show, which is I think more than 60 years old, maybe 60 or 70 years old.
More than 70.
Much.
I think it's 63. 63
Thank
years.
you. Well, you go, and I go. I can't remember all the numbers, but 63 years old, and it has 60,000 visitors worldwide. And I've often met my friends from London, Paris, Milan, Cape Town, Johannesburg, and meet them at the Bronner Brothers. Montreal, Toronto. So it's an international show. And that's the other thing about the global beauty business. It's international. It's global.
Right.
I've got to share this with you, Mickey. We have a sorority and a fraternity.
Oh, wow. Tell us more.
Oh, yes. professional fraternity, Theta Nu Sigma National Sorority, and Sigma Nu Theta National Fraternity.
Very nice. So to get involved in that, how do you do that?
You come in through the institute, and like you would do to college, you have to get someone to recommend you
Okay,
by letter, and
nice.
then they go from there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And one of the other things I think that's really impressive about your organization is that you have real estate. You have owned a fabulous building in the heart of Washington, D.C., which is where I spent most of my career as a beauty professional. And just wanted to see what you guys wanted to share with everyone about that, because I think it's so fabulous that we have real estate and basically prime real estate on Logan Circle. So, who would like to jump in?
Well, Dr. Catalan can talk about the building and its history
Yes,
and the
it
property,
was. Mhm.
and I'll
It,
talk about what we're doing about saving 25 Logan Circle.
Awesome.
yeah, it was purchased in 1947, and we have a sorority room there. And Dr. Jones' picture is in the Hall of Fame room with the other pioneers that's there. And it's just nice to go there because our chapter president can have the meetings held there for those that are coming in for their meetings, and it's beautiful to see it and to know that it's owned by African Americans. It's there. Others want it, but we're doing all we can to hold on to it because we've been there since 1947.
Yes, that's phenomenal.
Yes, it's our
Absolutely
home.
phenomenal.
Dr. Catalan is being very modest. I don't know if you have any images of the building itself. You know that in Washington, D.C., there's been a population shift, and more African Americans have moved out of the city than moved in. And so where that building is all mansions.
Mhm.
And many of them are no longer owned by people who live in the community, you know. But not this building. They've maintained the taxes on this building, which has been difficult. The building is worth $1 million. So I'm just kind of put it in a class by itself. I
Mhm.
know of no other um, organization that is, and I'm not talking about private, I'm talking about a 501c3 or 6,
6.
uh, 6 that owns $1 million business and has maintained it as a part of their property acquisition since 1947.
Wow.
Now, here is the challenge. For the last 2 years of COVID, NBCL has not been able to hold its normal week-long convention where they provide the education. They're doing it online, but the revenue streams are different. And so that about 80% of their revenue is derived from that week show where they have hundreds of people who show up for
Mhm.
education and for their trade show and other things. So they've had a revenue impact. Not only them, a lot of people have
Yeah.
had challenges in the beauty industry,
Mhm.
cosmetologists in particular. So Dr. Catalan called me on the phone, and I've been helped trying to do whatever Sandy, my wife, and I could do for a long time, and said, I need some help. And y'all supposed to be marketing experts. You're supposed to know a lot of people. You need to come help us. So I spoke to my wife, Sandy, about it. And she says, what does she want you to do? And I said, help save 25 Logan Square by raising some funds. And so Dr. Catalan appointed Sandy and I as co-chairs of the NBCL Foundation Fund Development and its marketing outreach campaign, which starts with you, Mickey Wright, on this
Okay.
show. That's why I
Good.
called you up and said, please help us. And we thank you so much for being open to letting us be a part of your show and tell the NBCL story and why we need not only just cosmetologists and companies in the U.S. We need help from all over the world. This is $1 million building, and it stands it's the foundation of our beauty business.
Yes, yes. Well, it is quite an honor to have you both on and to share about this organization. It's like I No, not everyone knows, I guess, but I'm second generation. It's like my mom's a hairstylist as
Is
well.
that
And
right?
yeah,
Wonderful.
I didn't
yeah,
know
and,
that.
yeah.
Wow.
She went to
So you
cosmetology.
sense the need, the desire to retain that building.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it's like I grew up, knowing about the organization, and I think Dr. Mary Moore was a big
Oh,
person.
Mary Moore from Michigan.
Yes, yes,
I loved her.
yes.
Oh,
So many
yes,
of us did.
yes,
Yes,
I didn't know
absolutely.
your mom was a cosmetologist.
oh, goodness,
Yeah,
yes.
So
still is.
I get the bug.
And my sister.
And
My
your
sister's
sister, that's right.
in the
Oh,
industry as well.
wonderful.
Yeah,
This makes it even better,
yeah,
greater.
Well, I'll
yep.
tell you how good it gets. Mickey Wright has agreed to be the first member of our advisory board. I'm going around picking all my friends, call them
Okay.
up in the middle of the night.
We pick good fruit.
Yeah,
Good
Okay.
fruit.
I call them. They know I call them up in the middle of the night. When I know I can get them. I call them maybe
Right.
11:30 at night and said I need you. Not I. We need your help. She sent a note back. She didn't do a lot of talking. Sent a text. These young techies. Sent a text back, says I'm in. So she's our first member on our advisory board, and Dr. Joppi. Robin Joppi is on that. So I'm going through and selecting not only African Americans, but there are other people in our business who want to see NBCL
Yeah,
not only survive, but thrive.
yeah.
And so as soon as we get this job done and get these taxes paid, we have some other things in mind.
Yes, yes. Well, tell us what we need to do next. What are the steps that we need to take to help support 25 Logan Circle?
Keep your ears open because we are now, this is this is right out the box. We
Okay.
haven't written the marketing plan yet, but I knew what had to be done. Our objective is to create awareness of the National Beauty Cultural League,
Uh-huh.
what it means, what they've been doing, its history, to bring its president and its leader to meet and greet on the using technology to do that. Going to our friends in the media. So keep your ears open. What you can do is send a check, and we'll tell you how to do that.
Mhm.
It's going to be to the National Beauty Culturists League, and it's themed at the bottom of the check, Save 25 Logan Circle. This is right off the top. We haven't written a plan yet, but I know we need money, and I know some people will hear this and say, how can I send a check?
Yes.
What is the website for a National Beauty Culturists League, please?
www.nbcl.info.
Say it again, please.
www.nbcl.info.
So lickety split, we'll put a page up, and people will be able to go there and get the information and send the check in the mail. It's like we give to our churches now. We
Hmm.
tithe, at least my family does, online. We
Yeah.
carry YouTube.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. It's like they'll have an online option to be able to contribute for it as well, correct?
Absolutely, because our global friends will. And here's what we plan to do. We're going to have a crowdfunding campaign.
Hmm.
Um, we are creating awareness in newspapers, magazines. Remember, they're nonprofit organizations, so they have the ability to do public service announcements.
Right.
You may remember that a long time ago not so long ago, but 1981, I created the Proud Lady, the silhouette of a Black woman with curly hair and wavy hair and straight hair. And I did that campaign. We spent about $10 million against it because we got the magazines and the billboard companies and others to give us public service announcements. So you're going to hear Dr. Catalon on the radio. You're going to see her on your show. She's going to be going around with the basket saying, help us to do this. And I think it's a worthwhile cause. And we're going to be talking to some of the folks in the business who have, let me say this. President Obama proved that you could do fundraising on small time and make it big time because everybody can give $5, $10, $20, okay?
Right.
Whatever they can afford. He was the master of that, and
Mhm.
he taught the rest of the world. But there are also major donors. I mean, we've
Yeah.
got companies out there like Cantu, L'Oreal, and Revlon, and a number of the big ones. And called my friends over at Renee Cottrell Brown is a friend of ours. They just bought a company bump stopper. And so there are lots of companies around. We'll figure out a system that will recognize the contributors.
Mhm.
And I think we're going to be able to, I think it will take us 12, 18 months. But once we've got this first hurdle out of the way, get the taxes paid, make sure no one steals the building for cheap. Then the next thing we have to do is probably some restoration. You know, these buildings, you didn't say it, I said that, doctor. Some restoration, because these older buildings they need roofs, they need a lot of
Right.
things.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. And then finally, before we leave the planet, our third objective will be to build an endowment fund that will fund this in perpetuity.
Beautiful.
Okay, so that we won't be going around with a tin cup in our hand. Well, we probably will, but it'll be a different kind of tin cup with a different objective. So next steps are create awareness, build the portals so people can give, make it easy for corporations, both large and small, to make donations and get the job done, pay the taxes. You got anything else you want us to do, Dr. Catalan?
We're off to a very good start. So we're out of the corral now. So let's run ahead.
Okay. Yeah, well, this is absolutely beautiful. It's like I know that the plan is all in process, but I love what you laid out for us, Mr. Jones. And I definitely appreciate you both being here, Dr. Catalan. It's like your energy and passion is extremely apparent, and we need you to, continue moving all of this forward. So we're just really grateful to learn more about NBCL today. And I want to wrap up everything. And is there any parting words that either of you would like to say?
We keep hope alive and thank Almighty God for all blessings.
Absolutely.
Well, you know,
That-
they say that the idea is to plan your work and work your plan. And
Mhm.
that's what we have to do. I know as a person that there are always the same four things that make people successful. Confidence, not that they know everything, that confidence that it can get done. Discipline, doing the right thing at the right time. Determination to get the job done. And the one that Dr. Catalan talks about a lot is faith in the Almighty, whatever your higher power is. Those are the four keys, and we use those all the time to achieve our objectives.
Yes, I absolutely love that. So a beautiful way for us to depart. Want to thank everyone for joining us here today. Thank you. Please drop below. It's like if you are able to comment on something that was a surprise to you, something that you learned today, or how you'd like to be able to contribute to this organization moving forward. So we definitely invite in the entire beauty industry. It's like I want to say thank you, for you guys being here with us with Beauty Superstars Talk. We actually interview Black beauty bosses each and every week. So there's over 70 interviews with great, the best and brightest of the industry. And so you can catch those at Mickey Wright on my Mickey Wright channel on YouTube as
Will you
well.
invite us back again when we get all
Absolutely.
of our pieces in place?
Would love to.
Please.
I would
Yes.
love to. And this is just the start. So it's all about save 25 Logan Circle.
Yes.
We'll put those pieces in place and make it all happen. So I want to thank everyone again. My name is Mickey Wright. I'm with beautysuperstars.com and look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Be safe always in love and peace.
Thank you
Love
so
and
much.
peace.
I received that. Thank you. And blessings to you both. And it's like we will see this, on the other side with the
Yes.
taxes paid and everything in place. So thank you. Everyone
Goodbye.
keep reaching for the stars. Bye bye.